All right, so you guys really want to dig into this whole Canada-U.S. trade war thing, huh? And you want to know what it means for both sides, right?
Sounds like a plan.
Buckle up, because we're about to get real here.
Oh, yeah.
We've got the transcript of the Canadian Prime Minister's press conference right after the U.S. announced these tariffs.
Front row seats.
It's like we're right there with them. We'll see exactly how Canada is reacting and what's at stake.
That press conference, it was something else. Definitely insightful. I think we'll get a lot out of this.
Okay, so first things first, let's break down these tariffs. What exactly did the U.S. slap on Canada?
Well, they hit a bunch of Canadian exports with a 25% tariff, stuff like steel, aluminum, even energy.
Oof, that's gotta hurt.
Yeah, and then they piled on another 10% specifically for Canadian energy, and naturally, Canada fought back.
Oh, I bet they did.
25% tariffs, right back at you, on about $155 billion worth of U.S. goods.
So let's bring this down to earth for a sec. What's the average Joe like me gonna see from all this?
Think of it this way. Those tariffs, they're basically a tax on stuff crossing the border. And that means we're all going to pay more.
Ouch!
Like aluminum cans, for example. That extra cost trickles down to all your favorite drinks. Or say you need steel for a home project. Well, guess what? That's going up too.
So this isn't just some political game. It's gonna hit us where it hurts our wallet.
Exactly. And it can mess with entire industries. Take the auto industry, for instance. Parts go back and forth across that border like crazy during the whole manufacturing process.
Right.
All those tariffs, they add up fast, and that makes the price of cars skyrocket for everyone.
Okay, so that's the economic side of things.
Right.
But I gotta say, the Prime Minister, he really played up that whole Canada-U.S. friendship thing. Talked about wars they fought together, natural disasters, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, I noticed that too. That emphasis on shared history, it really stood out. So what do you think? Genuine plea or calculated strategy?
Honestly, a bit of both, maybe.
Oh.
I mean, he sounded really concerned, like this whole thing was some kind of personal betrayal. He even used the word grieving.
I get that. But at the same time, there's a definite strategy there. He's saying, hey, U.S., remember all the good times, all that we've done for each other. It's a reminder of how much damage these tariffs could do.
Damage to a relationship that's been good for both sides for a long time.
Exactly.
Okay, so that's Canada's perspective. But the U.S. did give reasons for starting this tariff war, right? They're pointing fingers at border security and illegal immigration.
Yeah, specifically fentanyl coming from Canada and folks crossing the border illegally.
But wait, didn't the Prime Minister kind of shoot those arguments down?
He did. He threw out some stats showing that less than 1% of both the fentanyl and those illegal crossings actually come from Canada.
So is he saying the U.S. is just making excuses?
Well, he definitely raises the question, doesn't he? Like, if those problems are so tiny, what's the real story?
Yeah. It's like there's this big mystery behind all this. We got to dig deeper to figure out what's really driving these actions.
We do.
Okay, so if those reasons aren't the whole picture, what can Canada do? They've already hit back with their own tariffs, but is there anything else up their sleeve?
They're playing it smart, actually, with a two-pronged approach.
Oh, two-pronged. That sounds intense.
So you've got those retaliatory tariffs, right. But then they're also looking at what are called non-tariff measures.
Non-tariff measures. Now I got to ask, what in the world are those?
It's basically anything that impacts trade without directly slapping on taxes.
Okay.
So, for instance, they could make it harder for certain American goods to even get into Canada.
Oh, I see.
Or they could say, hey, U.S., you need this mineral, this energy resource that we have. Tough luck, you're not getting it.
So it's like they're saying, we can play hardball too, just with different rules.
Bingo! It's all about finding those pressure points and using them strategically.
And let's not forget the Prime Minister's pep talk to the Canadians. Bye, Canadian. Vacation in Canada. He's like building Ford Canada over there.
He is. It's pretty clever, actually. On the one hand, it's rallying the troops, boosting national pride when things are tough.
Right.
But it's also economic strategy. If Canadians spend their money at home, they depend less on U.S. goods. That gives Canada a stronger hand in this whole thing.
Okay, so we've got tariffs flying back and forth. The Prime Minister's rallying his people. But there's one big question still hanging in the air. What about those two leaders, huh? What's going on between them?
That's the elephant in the room, isn't it? Because, well, the Prime Minister admitted he's been trying to reach President Trump, but no dice, can't get through.
Oh, wow.
We don't know everything that's going on behind closed doors, but that silence, it's pretty loud, says a lot about where their relationship is at right now.
Yeah, not exactly painting a rosy picture, is it? Makes you wonder if they even want to talk, let alone find a solution.
It's a valid concern. The Prime Minister keeps saying he's optimistic about a resolution, but with zero direct dialogue, it's hard to see how they'll get there.
So we've unpacked all this, but it feels like we have more questions than answers. These tariffs, they're hurting everyone. The real reasons behind them are still a bit murky. And don't even get me started on the bad vibes between the leaders.
You've hit the nail on the head. It's a lot to process. What does this mean for the U.S. and Canada going forward? Is this just a bump in the road or something more serious? And most importantly, how do they get back on track and find some common ground?
Lots to think about. And we'll dig into all those questions and more in the next part of our deep dive, so stay tuned. Okay, so we spent some time trying to figure out the reasons behind these tariffs, but now let's talk about the consequences, the ouch factor. How bad is this really going to be for both sides? Because it seems like this whole thing could have repercussions way beyond those specific products hit by tariffs.
Yeah, you're spot on. This isn't just about certain things getting pricier. Economists, well, they're really worried about a domino effect, a chain reaction on both sides of the border. You got to remember, Canada and the U.S., they have this super tight-knit supply chain, right? Like a finely tuned engine where every part is essential.
And these tariffs are kind of like throwing a wrench into that engine.
Exactly. Let's go back to that auto industry example for a second. Canada, they supply a lot of those raw materials for American-made cars, things like steel and aluminum. Then all those car parts, they get shipped back and forth across the border as the cars are put together.
So each time those parts cross, boom, more tariffs.
Yeah.
Driving up the final price tag for everyone.
It's a snowball effect.
Yeah.
And it's not just cars either. Think about energy, right? Canada's a major energy supplier to the U.S., especially for those folks up in the Northeast. Those tariffs on Canadian energy, that could mean higher heating bills for families, higher operating costs for businesses. It just keeps adding up.
And it's not just about the overall economic impact either. We have to think about specific regions that are more reliant on this cross-border trade. What happens to those areas if jobs disappear because of all this disruption?
They're the ones who'll get hit the hardest. Border states in the U.S., like Michigan, Ohio, New York, they could see some serious job losses. And on the Canadian side, provinces like Ontario and Quebec, they have those strong manufacturing ties to the U.S., so they'll feel the squeeze too.
It's a pretty grim picture, honestly. But is there any light at the end of the tunnel? I mean, neither side wants to completely tank their economy.
Right. You're right. And that's where that idea of economic interdependence kicks in. Both countries get so much from this close relationship, so it makes sense for them to want to find some kind of solution. The tricky part is, well, actually finding that solution.
So what would that even look like? Are there like any back channels, any secret talks going on to try to smooth things over?
Well, most diplomacy happens behind the scenes, We might not see it publicly, but it's safe to say that both sides are working on de-escalating things. Maybe they'll try some targeted exemptions from those tariffs, or perhaps they'll commit to tackling those border security issues together, the ones they brought up in the first place.
So instead of just throwing tariffs at each other, they actually work together to solve those problems.
That's the idea, right? Finding some common ground, but that's going to take compromise on both sides. If they can get back to that spirit of cooperation, that we're in this together kind of feeling, then maybe, just maybe, they can start to undo some of the damage that's been done.
Okay, so even though things are pretty tense right now, there's still a chance for things to get better. But how does all of this relate to our listener, the person who's been following along with this deep dive?
This is where it all becomes real,
Yeah.
This isn't some theoretical political debate, this trade war. It could affect your everyday life in some very real ways.
We're not just talking about, like, a few extra bucks for a six-pack of beer, are we? This could impact jobs, the cost of living. Entire industries could be shaken up.
It's serious stuff. But the thing is, understanding what could happen, well, that gives you power. You can make informed decisions, right? Maybe you start paying more attention to where the products you buy are made, or you get involved with local initiatives that support those businesses hit hard by these tariffs.
Or even just staying informed, reaching out to your elected officials, making your voice heard. That can make a difference.
You got it. Because in a situation like this, where things are so complex, knowledge is power. The more you know about all the ins and outs of these trade relationships, the better prepared you are to deal with whatever comes next.
Speaking of what comes next, we're going to wrap up this whole deep dive in the next part by looking ahead. What's in store for the U.S.-Canada relationship? Is there any hope for them to go back to being those close allies they once were? Well, stick around and find out. Well, we've really dug deep into this whole trade war mess, haven't we? From the tariffs themselves to the economic fallout and that strained relationship between the two leaders. I got to say, it's complicated, and there are no easy answers here.
Yeah, it definitely highlights just how tricky global trade and diplomacy can be these days.
Thinking back to that prime minister's speech, all those examples he gave about Canada and the U.S. helping each other out, it wasn't just about, cold, hard trade deals. It felt like there was some genuine partnership there.
It was striking, wasn't it, how he tied this whole trade dispute back to that shared history, those common values. Makes you wonder, can all that camaraderie survive this kind of economic battle?
Yeah, that's the thing that's bugging me. If these two countries, with everything they've been through together, with their economies so intertwined, if they can end up in a trade war, what does that say about the future of global cooperation?
It's a little unnerving, right? Like, are the old ways of doing things, that old diplomacy playbook, is it even relevant anymore?
So if that old school diplomacy is struggling, what do we do? How do we stop these conflicts from getting out of hand?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Maybe it calls for a different approach, something more, I don't know, more sensitive, an approach that focuses on building understanding and empathy, even when there are disagreements.
So instead of just looking at the bottom line, the dollars and cents, maybe we need to think about the human side of things, the real impact on people's lives and their jobs.
Exactly, because at the end of the day, these trade wars, they're not just about numbers on a balance sheet. They're about real people, real communities, and the ties that bind nations together.
That brings me back to something you said earlier. Knowledge is power. In this crazy world where we're bombarded with information 24/7, it's easy to feel lost, powerless. But the more we understand these big, complex issues, the more we can actually do something about them.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And those actions, they don't have to be huge, earth-shattering things. It could be as simple as supporting a local business that's hurting because of the tariffs, or writing to your representatives about your concerns.
Or just staying informed, right? Talking to your friends and family about this stuff, trying to see things from different angles, because let's face it, these challenges, they need everyone to pitch in. We can't just leave it to the politicians to sort it all out.
Well said. Hopefully, this deep dive has given you some of the knowledge you need to have those conversations to start making a difference. The situation between Canada and the US, it's still unfolding, but by staying involved, by staying informed, well, you can be part of the solution.
So, to everyone listening, thanks for joining us on this journey. Remember, even when things are uncertain, there's always hope. Stay curious, keep learning, and let's all try to make the world a little bit better, one conversation at a time.